So, you're thinking about buying a home. Awesome. But today, we're going to talk about a question that every single buyer should be asking. What's the real price tag? And spoiler alert, it is not the number you see on the listing. We're going way beyond the down payment to uncover the financial reality that kicks in the second you get those keys.
This quote really just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? I mean, imagine you do everything right. You save like crazy, you get pre-approved, you watch the market, and then, the day after you close, you feel financially blindsided. It's a super common shock, and that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
And that really brings us to the heart of the problem, what we're calling the homebuyer's blind spot. Most of the advice out there is all about getting you to that closing table. But as we're about to see, that finish line you've been working so hard for, it's really just the beginning of a whole new financial game.
Okay, let's start with that first massive mountain every buyer has to climb, the down payment. Hitting that savings goal is, without a doubt, an incredible achievement. But here's the thing you got to understand. It's just the first of several major financial milestones on your journey.
Just let that sink in for a second. 7 years. That's a huge chunk of someone's life, and it's dedicated just to paying the entry fee for homeownership. It really just goes to show you how much the financial landscape has shifted for the average person. Now, this timeline gives us some really important context. Yeah, 7 years is a long time, but it's actually way better than the peak back in 2022, when it took a staggering 12 years to save up. Still, we're at double the time it took before the pandemic. The goalposts have definitely moved. So why is it taking so much longer? Well, there are basically 3 big pressures all hitting at once. First, people just aren't saving as much. Second, the actual amount of cash you need for a down payment has gone through the roof. And third, all of this is happening while the cost of just, living is fighting for every single dollar in your budget. And here is the number that really drives it all home. Over $30,000. That's what a typical down payment looks like today. More than double what it was just a few years back. So you can see why, when you finally save up that much money, it feels like the hard part has to be over. But is it? And that brings us right to the core of this whole thing. This is where we uncover that different financial reality we talked about at the start. It's all about the ongoing costs that are not part of your mortgage, that main payment for the loan itself. These other numbers, they're what truly define the cost of owning a home. So, beyond your mortgage, you have at least 4 other big expenses to plan for. You've got insurance, property taxes, the never-ending need for maintenance and repairs, and for a lot of people, HOA dues. Those fees for community upkeep. On their own, they might seem okay, but trust me, together they add up fast. And get this, these costs aren't just sitting still. Take a look at homeowners insurance. It has shot up nearly 70% since 2021. This isn't some small little annual increase. This is a massive jump that hits your monthly budget hard. Then you've got maintenance, and we're not just talking about small fixes here. This rule of thumb exists because it accounts for the big expensive stuff. So for a $400,000 house, that's somewhere between $8,000 and $16,000 a year you need to have set aside for when that roof or the AC unit eventually gives out. So what does this all add up to? Well, when you combine the insurance, the taxes, and the maintenance, you're looking at an extra $1,400 to almost $4,000 a month. And remember, that is on top of your mortgage. This is the number that catches so many new homeowners completely by surprise. Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds a little intimidating, right? But the good news is it's totally fixable with a pretty simple shift in how you think about it. It's all about moving from being just mortgage ready to becoming truly ownership ready. It's not about what a bank says you can have. It's about what you can actually live with comfortably. And the difference between these two mindsets is absolutely crucial. See, the lender's view is just math. It's the absolute max you can handle based on debt ratios. But your view, the ownership-ready view, that's about your real life. It asks the question, what payment can I make and still have money left over and not feel stressed out every single month? Exactly. The real goal is not to stretch yourself to that maximum approval amount. It is all about building in some breathing room, a cushion, in your budget. That extra space is what saves you from financial stress when life, inevitably happens. So, how do you actually do it? Well, here are three really clear, simple steps. First, do not drain your entire savings for the down payment. You need to keep cash reserves. Second, figure out a monthly payment you're actually comfortable with and work backwards from there. And third, you have to understand these trade offs before you get emotionally attached to a house. Which brings us to our final and probably most important point. It is time to redefine what winning at homeownership really looks like. It's not just about that one awesome celebratory day when you finally get the keys. And this quote just says it all perfectly. Getting the house is a huge milestone, for sure. But the real victory, the real win is being able to enjoy that home for years and years without it becoming a source of constant financial anxiety. That is the ultimate goal. So I'll just leave you with this question to chew on. When it comes to buying a home, what's your primary goal? Is it just about getting across that initial finish line? Or is it about setting yourself up so you can run the entire marathon comfortably? Because planning for the true cost of ownership, that's how you do just that.